Well, the gospel is being preached. And gospels are being preached. And I was reminded of what Paul said to the churches of Galatia, where he said, I am so amazed, or I marvel at you are so quickly drawn away from him. You know, he's called you by his grace to another gospel. And then he goes on to say, it's not really a gospel at all. But that's nothing new. And that's still going on. And I think we really ought to be careful when we meet people, if we visit another fellowship, or whatever the situation may be, that we determine whether or not the gospel has been planted in there or not. You never know where the gospel has been planted. And I know that that's like preaching to the choir here, but I remember last spring, Anna and I had the opportunity to go to Colonial Williamsburg for the weekend. And I think I told you all about that. And that was so fascinating to me because it was Sunday morning and we did the thing we were supposed to do. We looked up in the yellow pages and found the right kind of church to go to and went to it and got their bulletin. And you know that the gospel was not in the bulletin in any way, shape, or form. I found that very interesting. And the gospel, honestly, I have to tell you this, was not preached from the pulpit, and it was not sung in the songs we sang. It stymied me. But that afternoon, Anna and I went for a walk, and I'm not going to be pro or con any particular church, but we went into the first church that was established in Colonial Williamsburg. So I'll let you figure out what kind of church that was. But it was back when England ruled everything. And but I went in there, and they have like tours, and these two older women met us there, and one of them gave me a bulletin from that morning, and I kid you not, I measured it. It was 16 inches tall, and it was 4 pages wide, and that was the service for Sunday morning. And I got to tell you, I went to the wrong service that day. And everything was in that bulletin and in that service that I would have wanted to participate in. Everything was in there. And the gospel was in there, printed in there, the gospel in the Old Testament, the gospel in the Gospels, and the gospel in the epistles was all in there. And I went up to one of the ladies and I said, I just want to tell you that how pleased I am to see so much of the Word of God in your bulletin. And she just looked right at me. She says, well, sir, it is the power of God unto salvation. And, you know, that was really refreshing to me. You know, and I told her, I said, well, I'm serious, but to have the Word. And she says, well, sir, the Word is sharper than any two-edged sword. And my point in saying all this regarding the gospel is that the gospel is still the gospel. Nothing has changed about it. But people will follow whatever gospel is being preached. There will be people who will come to where that gospel is preached. And you will know them by what you hear and what you see. And so don't be too quick just to think sometimes that, well, that's some kind of, I don't know what that is, but there's no gospel there. You better go find out, because next time if I get a chance to go to Colonial Williamsburg, I can tell you where I'm going to go worship on Sunday morning.